Welcome to GNANA DEEKSHA concept-based digital learning. I am Saritha, PGT English, working at TSWREIS JC, Ibrahimpatnam. In today's session, we are going to learn our Class 10 first unit, Personality Development. Before we start learning each reading, let's first know what is the meaning of personality development. Does it have to do with the color of a person? Does it deal with weight? Is it the height of the person, or is it related to good looks? No. Personality development is not about having good looks or height or weight. Then, what is personality? Personality development is the development of the organized pattern of behaviors and attitudes that makes a person distinctive. So, in this unit, we are going to learn about different people who have developed attitudes and behaviors irrespective of the hurdles they faced in their lives. Let's start with the A reading. Attitude is altitude. First of all, let's know the meaning of attitude and altitude. Attitude means a settled way of thinking or feeling about something. Altitude means height or highest point. Hence, we can understand that the right attitude we develop will make us reach great heights in life. In this unit, we are going to know about Nick Vujicic, who was born in Melbourne, Australia. He was born without limbs, therefore was called a torso. When his father saw him in the hospital, he went out and vomited on seeing a child without limbs. His distraught mother couldn't hold the child for 4 months. His parents struggled to know why this happened to their child. Doctors concluded it as a rare occurrence called phocomelia. His mother was a nurse, thus followed all the measures during her pregnancy. However, she cursed herself for giving birth to a torso, thinking that it was her fault. Although he was a torso, his parents decided to bring him up independently. Nick's mother invented a plastic device which would help him hold things. His father put him in swimming pool when he was 18 months old. As he was a computer programmer, he taught Nick typing when he was only 6 years old. Although his parents supported him, he couldn't bear the bullying done by his peer groups at mainstream school. He decided to die when he was 8 and told his mother the same. However, his mother helped him to come out of the situation. He also tried to drown himself and die, but failed. In life, there will be certain situations or incidents which helps people to realize the value of their life. One such incident took place in the life of Nick Vujicic. That is, when he was 13 years old, he read a newspaper article which had the information of a disabled person who overcame the hurdles in his life. On reading this article, Nick started realizing why God had created him like this. It is to give hope to others. Thus, he decided to be happy with what he has, instead of worrying for what he doesn't have. He was happy he had beautiful eyes. He thought that the challenges in our lives are there to strengthen our convictions. They are not there to run us over. He had a small foot on his left hip which he called chicken drumstick. The small foot was very helpful for him to hold pen, objects or type. Once, he met a woman called Bethany Hamilton who lost her hand bitten by a shark. He taught him surfing. He was impressed by her talent. He learned surfing very quickly and could create a record by doing 360-degree spin on surfing board within 48 hours and got him on Surfer magazine. Nick's life is the best example for all those people who keep finding excuses for not being successful. He says, if I fail, I try again and again. If you fail, are you going to try again? Human spirit can handle much worse than what we realize. Today, he possesses multiple talents like swimming, surfing, skating, playing hockey, etc. He became a motivational speaker and received many awards and rewards. He visited many countries and addressed lakhs of people. Hence, we can understand it's his attitude which made him reach great heights, not his physical personality. Thus, our attitude decides our altitude of our life. Now, we shall learn be reading. Every success story is also a story of great failure. It is said that failure is the highway to success, which means every time you fail, you clear the obstacles, you learn something from the failures, which helps to become successful. Tom Watson once said, if you want to succeed, double your failure rate. It means failure gives us the determination to succeed. The greater number of failures you face, the more determination you get to become successful. If you study history, you can observe that all the stories of success are also the stories of great failure. But people don't see the failures. They only see the one side of the coin and think that the person got lucky. We observe in our day-to-day life that people keep commenting about others. Don't bother about such people. They are always there to say either way. They also say he or she must have been at the right place at the right time. Let's go into history to see whether this statement is right or wrong. For example, I would like to talk about a person who failed various stages of his life, like he failed in business at the age of 21. He was defeated in legislative race at age 22. He failed again in business at age 24. It was difficult for him to overcome the death of his sweetheart. Then he had a nervous breakdown when he was at age 27. He lost in a congressional race at age 34. He also lost a senatorial race at age 45. He wanted to become the vice president at age 47 but failed. Again, he failed in a senatorial race at age 49 and finally, when he was at age 52, he was elected as the President of the United States. He is none other than Abraham Lincoln. If we observe his life, he failed many times in his life, in fact, every stage of his life. But ultimately, he became successful. If he had stopped trying when he failed for the first time, he wouldn't have definitely become the President of the United States. But to Lincoln, defeat was a deter and not a dead end. Here, the deter means the diversion. When we travel, if the road we choose blocks, we choose the other path to reach the destination. But we don't stop our journey. In the same way, in life, we face a lot of hurdles while we work for success. But still, we shouldn't give up like Lincoln. Now, let us know about another great personality in the history. He is Lee De Forest. Lee De Forest is the inventor of TSWREIS tube. He was charged by the district attorney for using the fraudulent means to mislead the public and made them to buy stocks of his company by claiming that he would transmit the human voice across Atlantic. He was publicly humiliated. Nobody believed him when he said he can transmit human voice across the Atlantic. But today, we cannot imagine the world without his invention. He didn't step back when he was humiliated and charged. Instead, he proved to the world what he said was correct. We have another story in the history about two brothers who invented a machine heavier than the air and that would fly. A New York Times editorial in 1903 questioned their wisdom. However, 1 week later at Kitty Hawk, the Wright brothers took their first flight. The Wright brothers created sensation by inventing flight. Today, we know how important and useful flights are. Thereby, when we try something unusual, the people, the society would question us. May not trust our abilities, but we should have confidence in ourselves and in what we are doing. Definitely, one day we would become successful. Here we have another story about Colonel Sanders, a 65 years old man who was left with a damaged car and a $100 check in his hand. Usually, what would one do at that age? That is the retirement age of people. People take a rest. But Colonel at that age decided to do something. Then he remembered the recipe made by his mother. Can you guess how many doors he might have knocked before he had got his first order? 10, 100, 500? It is estimated that he had knocked more than 1,000 doors before he got his first order. How many of us try more than 10 times or 100 times before we say we have worked very hard? How many of us keep learning and keep trying although we grow older? We have to learn a lot from the life of Colonel Sanders, who started KFC business when he was 65 years old and became world famous businessman. We would realize that age is not a hurdle to work. Here is another historical story about Walt Disney, who faced many rejections from newspaper editors as a young cartoonist. Many editors said he had no talent. One day, a minister at a church hired him to draw cartoons. He was working out of a small mouse-infested shed near the church. After he saw a small mouse moving here and there and infesting, he got inspired by it. That was the start of Mickey Mouse. Today, we know how children are fond of Mickey Mouse worldwide. Walt Disney, who was rejected by newspaper editors, had created the famous Disney World. Successful people don't do great things. They only do small things in a great way. Now, we will be amazed to know about another great personality, that is Thomas Alva Edison. He was partially deaf, thus was little slow in understanding what teachers taught at school. One day, this 4-year-old kid came home with a note in his pocket from his teacher. "Your Tommy is too stupid to learn. Get him out of the school." His mother read the note and answered, "My Tommy is not stupid to learn. I will teach him myself." This note was sent back to his teacher by his mother. The hope and the love she had on her child didn't go in vain. That Tommy, who had only 3 months of formal schooling, had acquired around 1093 patents. It is known that he failed more than 10,000 times before he invented bulb. Hence, it is proved that to become successful, one's determination plays key role than the defect. When Thomas Edison was 67, he lost his factory, which was worth a few $1 million, on fire. It had very little insurance. He watched his lifetime efforts go up in smoke and said, "There is a great value in disaster. All our mistakes are burnt up. Thank God we can start anew." In spite of the disaster, 3 weeks later, he invented phonograph. Isn't it a great attitude? We can see how Edison saw the positive side even in the disaster. Setbacks are inevitable in life. A setback can act as a driving force and also teach us humility. This means failures are very common in anybody's life. A setback can be a motivation point at times. It also teaches us how to be simple and humble. Now that we have known about different people who turned failures as the stepping stones to success, we shall see what a great philosopher Socrates talked about: burning desire for success. One day, a young man asked Socrates the secret to success. Socrates told the young man to meet him near the river the next morning. The young man met him as he said. Socrates asked the young man to walk with him towards the river. When the water got up to their neck, Socrates took the young man by surprise and tugged him into the river. The boy struggled to get out, but Socrates was so strong and kept him until the boy started turning blue. Socrates pulled his head out of the water, and the first thing the young man did was to gasp and take a deep breath of air. Socrates asked, "What you wanted the most when you were there?" The boy replied, "Air." Socrates said, "That is the secret of success. When you want success as badly as you wanted the air, then you will get it. There is no other secret." A burning desire is the starting point of all accomplishments. Just like a small fire cannot give much heat, a weak desire cannot produce great results. Here, Socrates says that the desire for success should be very strong. Then only one can become successful. Now that we have read and learned B reading, we are going to learn C reading. I will do it. In this passage, we will know about a great personality named N.R. Narayana Murthy, the founder of Infosys. This story is written by his wife Sudha Murthy. The present story is an extract from one of her most successful stories, How I Taught My Grandmother to Read and Other Stories. Murthy was a short boy, but he was sharp. He was the brightest boy in his class. His seniors used to ask him to solve their difficulties in science. When questions related to physics or maths are asked, there was a spark in his eyes. He was very much interested in these subjects. He came from a poor but educated family. His father was a high school teacher and an avid reader of English literature. He had dreamt of getting an admission into IIT like any other bright students. There was an entrance test for IIT. This boy, along with his friends, applied to appear for the test. They didn't have any special books or coaching. All of them used to sit below the shade of a stone mandap close to Chamundi Hills in the town of Mysore. Narayana Murthy became the guide for all the other aspirants. He prepared well for the entrance exam and did well in the exam. But when people asked him how he did, he only said, "Okay." What do you think is the result? Yes, he scored high rank. He went to his father with lots of happiness and told him that he scored high rank and asked his father to join him in IIT Madras. Although his father was very happy for his son, he couldn't join him in IIT Madras because he was poor and had to marry off 5 daughters and educate 3 sons. With his single salary, he couldn't educate all children and marry off his daughters. Hence, he expressed his helplessness and told Murthy it's not possible to send him to Madras. He asked Murthy to study in Mysore itself in order to avoid expenses. Murthy was disappointed. He felt all his dreams burned to ashes. His heart sank in sorrow, but he didn't say a single word against his father. He obeyed his father's words silently as he was an introvert by nature. Do you know what is the meaning of introvert? It means one who is not very expressive. So, Narayana Murthy was kept quiet, feeling bad within. All his friends who got seat in IIT prepared to go to Madras. He went to railway station and bid farewell to them. He wished them good luck. He was neither jealous nor angry on anyone. He sat there for some time alone and said to himself, all students from IITs study well and do big things in life, but it is not the institution. Ultimately, it is you and you alone who can change your life by hard work. Probably, he might have followed the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita that your best friend is yourself and your worst enemy is yourself. Thus, he decided to think positive and work hard. He did the same throughout his life. He never used caste, community, or political connections to go up in life. He maintained a team which has same zeal and enthusiasm. He became the pioneer of India's software industry and started the information technology wave. He founded the Infosys, a leading IT company in the world. He became a philanthropist, serving the poor in need. Did you observe that the son of a poor high school teacher could achieve so much with his attitude and became the role model to billions of people? So, everyone can become successful irrespective of the hurdles one faces if one determines strongly. Here, let me conclude the unit with few thoughts we need to learn from this unit. We can understand from these three readings that our personality plays key role in becoming successful. Every character we learn from these lessons faced difficulties and challenges, but they overcame them with lots of determination and dedication. They never gave up, never stepped back. They looked at the positive side of their life. They waited for the right time to achieve their goals. Every person is unique. Everyone has some talent. It has to be identified and polished to make one's life successful. Every day we have to learn something new and strive to become better personality. Thank you one and all.